Red Squirrel shilling Tetra.
Uh,
He never. He always. He's always.
Welcome to the program. It is live at 5. Today is Tuesday, November 14th. Time now is 5:04 p.m., a little bit more on time. And right now I am actually in the middle of a live conversation with the Money Gang crypto crew and some OGs here in Hex and Pulsechain. We're talking about Bitcoin tops, Pulsechain tops, the future of cryptocurrency, and where we might fall into that picture here in our community, and what kinds of things in terms of crypto tops might we be prepared for in order to protect ourselves, to protect our finances, to make wise decisions. So I'm going to tune back into that and I'll allow you to listen into that process. And once I step out of this conversation, then I will also pivot back to you and we'll talk about some more stuff.
Price appreciation for Hex on Pulsechain and then Hex on ETH as well. We do have the situation at the moment where obviously BankX still holds a huge amount of Hex on ETH. Be interested to hear the guys who are speakers at the moment what their thoughts are on that.
So as you can see, we currently have a lot of good guys up here. I'm going to let some of them
I think
talk.
the E hex is at the mercy of the P hex, but it's just the way it is. It's liquidity. So whatever they need to do, they're at the mercy of the other one. So I don't think it's the. I think it's the exact same coin. It's just on a different chain.
Yeah.
Because
Makes
it's
sense.
technically not the same.
Although you have right the functions that work
Yeah,
It's a
technically
weird way
the
of trying to
same.
put it because it's kind of like the chicken and the egg because it's not the same, but it is. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, obviously, most of the liquidity when you look at Hex on Pulse is tied to Pulse, and then the second biggest parent being eHex. Um, if we do think the price appreciation on Pulse is going to be fairly high in this cycle for coming into the bull run, how many X's do you think it does compared to, let's take ETH, for example? Does ETH do 10, 15, 20K next bull? In comparison, Pulse may do more than that, and that was kind of the argument I was making a little bit. Obviously, playing a little bit of devil's advocate on, to cause some stir and engagement, but yeah, that's my general viewpoint. Is most of the liquidity is tied to Pulse. If we believe in liquidity bonding, then Pulse is likely to outperform ETH in the next bull run, and then we'll probably see higher price appreciation on that one side.
Well,
If there can be a cross-chain trading platform that my father in his 80s could enjoy, then I would say that the two are simply bonded by liquidity. And then that sloshing effect could happen just on speculation. But right now, there's other factors that favor EHEX because you've got the legacy crypto market that hasn't yet discovered how amazing Pulse Chain is and still see bridging as a little bit of a barrier. This last little Alex the Whale bullshit shows it,
Mm.
right? Why didn't he play his whale games on Pulse Chain? He was not. I would say he was not exactly a genuine character in the way that he was talking to Maddie on stream. But he brings up a really good point. And that is, there are players that don't want to go with big bags that don't even want to play on Pulse Chain yet, haven't discovered it yet. So I think we're going to see some slosh from people that want to pump and play on Ethereum side. So eHex still satisfies that.
It really does.
yeah, yeah,
EHEX has an
yeah, but
advantage in
like,
many ways.
see, there's always like this like confusion in what everyone always says,
But it
in my
doesn't
opinion,
mean
because it's like
it's
you want
going to
massive
be
adoption,
higher.
you
The
want great.
community's on Pulse Chain.
Because like the rich people will have their hands guided. They'll have you. Someone will guide their hand. They're not just gonna go there with their blinds. But the blind people are I don't ever hear someone say, "Yeah, how do I buy it on Pulsechain?" They're like, "Well, what happened to hex on here?" And they have the hex and the Ethereum hex. So like you have this coin that'll get all the marketing that we're doing, but it's tied to the PX. Why is it tied to the PX? Well, because the most liquidity of it is there. So regardless of how much you would change it on one side, until the liquidity were to shift onto that side, you're always going to get the people just resetting the ratio. Like we see it every time. Same thing with Pulse. When people were bringing Pulse to Ethereum at the beginning, it wasn't Pulse that was gauging the Pulse on Pulsechain. It was literally people on Pulsechain fixing the massively increased price on Ethereum. So like, I think we're doing everything wrong, but that's just the Hart's law. I
So
don't
do
think
I,
people are calculating
in a
it
lot of ways,
properly.
because we need to be
Um,
more of
I'm trying to
unconditional
think about it.
lovers.
Give me a second. But like,
And if
yeah,
I
I
can
don't,
budge in,
I
that's
don't
what I
agree
say.
with a lot of the semantics that we've
You
been
have to be respectful in that
looking at,
process.
because we've never really
A
took
lot of
into
people I
consideration
admire
half
are
of the
here.
stuff that's occurring that we never knew would occur. So there's a lot of leeway and a lot of statistics for like different ways of it going. So like, would EHEX or PHEX do better? Well, by the looks of things, is like it's easily manipulative. So like right now, everything is at the mercy of Pulse, to the point where
That's
it's
right.
like, why aren't we doing that with Pulse X? Like, it makes no sense. Like, I think, like, the way we're treating Pulse X is like, imagine if someone just creates and forks Pulse X and makes the buy and burn at 0.3%, just full fees straight into buy and burn of Hex. Not even burn, just buy. So, like, I don't know. I don't know how or what people are doing, but they're doing everything wrong, in my opinion. No one's
Be unconditional lovers, my friends. That's
No
how we
one's-
get the Metcalfe's law. That's how we
creating
spike
a
into
value
prices like we have never
that's
seen before.
intrinsically something that you don't want the price to be turned down. You want the ratios to be affected more than, like, that's what we've learned in the Tang Gang. And shouts out to the Tang Gang. You know, we're the most famous meme for a reason. Um,
For now,
we've understood the liquidity.
they should
We
be
understood
respectful
that
to
when
their
we take
happy
other
healer
coins
lover
that
who
pair
only
to
uses
something
unconditional
that's
love.
valuable, well, whatever is valuable and it's paired to, then you get a value due to its ratio. So that's what we're learning, or what people didn't learn on Pulsechain, right? It's like, why do you have the most liquid pair on Pulsechain and Pulse X, but no one's creating liquidity with Pulse X? It's hilarious. Buy and burns out of our yin yang, and no one's utilizing it, but people would rather pair it to something that they're dumping, right? I don't think $450 million was enough for them to say, yeah, I think we should stop giving them this value. But it's okay, right? Like, I'm just the guy who smokes and drinks all day. So what do you want me to tell you?
Yeah. Everybody should be a better person. That's what I would
That's
say.
my opinion. Yeah.
And a lover.
In my opinion, the 7 days in Pulsechain that were the best were when we were on both chains. So.
Hey, Famous, let me ask you something. Do you ever think that yield is going to be a big draw to one side or the other?
No, because you could just create the yield by bringing opportunity, right? The only reason why we would even have yield is opportunity, right? If there's no opportunity, there's no way we're getting yield. So it comes intrinsically, right?
And we create
I think it's
opportunity.
logic.
Remember
Same
that,
thing.
lovers.
The
We
reason why
create
people
it.
are buying is because there's opportunity. So when I look at,
We
like,
seize
what
it
we
and we
can create
create it.
obviously, if there's nothing and the liquidity is very minimal, then it's very hard to see the benefits. But if we were to have organically created a way where it's like, give the big players their piece of the pie, and also the other people have two options to go on, we would be easily bringing people into Pulsechain. Why? Well, buy Pulsechain on ETH. There's no need to dumb it down. It's not about dumbing it down. You don't explain to someone how the engine works in order for them to buy a car. I always found that technique of what we do to bring in people is very.
I bring in people quite effectively.
Fight to them if they want to fight us. Like, it makes no sense.
It's about love.
Bring the fight to them. That's what usually people do.
It's kind of the wrong mindset walking in.
I don't understand why I wouldn't make it easier for them. I want to make it harder. And I think we're making it harder by saying, hey, you're going to have to do this, but then we're giving you this option.
Of course, it should be much easier.
So I don't think we're really going to grow. And you can see it by the way people have siphoned the energy, the liquidity. We're at $6 million in a pool. We've lost more than, like, we've lost as much as what the token dropped. So is it because people are bullish or sorry, are bearish on Pulsechain? I don't think so.
No.
The fucking value got siphoned. It's not even us that fucking dropped the price. It's the people that took out the value. So
It'll come back.
where did it go? I don't know.
It's coming back already.
But
in fact, now is a great time, a great opportunity, in my opinion.
Providing liquidity somewhere where it already was valuable and siphoning that energy into Pulsechain. And that would have been much more beneficial because now we would have stuff in Pulsechain that would.
And be lovers. Care with all your heart. Go the distance.
I think we would have had double or triple the amount right now, and we'd be still, I think, double the price, triple the price of what we're at now in Pulse. So it'd be better for everyone. I don't know why people are not doing it.
Well, you can't strong arm people.
It's very weird. I even told KDP, I'm like, well, why would someone make a pool so liquid to not utilize it? Like, who's utilizing Pulse Hex? It's like everything, every buy and burn is just giving fees to people with Wrap Pulse, which is like, what is it? What, the validation's not enough?
Well, I think a lot of the things in crypto have become too complicated, right? Like, if we're going to bring in a bunch of new people, like, there's so many barriers to entrance. And with DeFi, you got to click this button, you got to click that button, and people can't sit at their computers or have, like, onboards don't have that knowledge. So that's why I'm super excited about Tetra and what it can do in its capabilities, right? And earning yield through people can just click on a strategy, the most complex strategies, and deploy it. And then for new people, for onboards, like, they can just click a button, get into like 5 different assets and be in like a liquid loan strategy, all these things in just a click of a button. So there's tremendous opportunities if you know what you're doing and you're smart, right? But you got to click buttons. So I'm super stoked to be a part of the Tetra team and for the community to be able to click one button, right?
A lot of people are stealing energy from Pulsechain using the Pulsechain community.
Just discuss if, some of you guys know I'm a member of that team, but that has huge implications. The ease of
bring people to Pulsechain.
So I think that's going to be a tremendous resource for our community and to earn yield for new people.
Yeah, go ahead, Ben. I like Tetra, bro. I don't mind it, so go ahead.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just talking, like, if you know me, like, I'm gonna be straight up, right? Like, the capabilities that Tetra is gonna bring once it comes out, and the community orients of it, and people clicking strategies, and how it helps, like, all protocols to be stronger, onboarding and all these things, I don't think is discussed enough, and probably because that part's not out yet. But we also have limit orders coming to Pulsechain on Friday, right? That's the first that no DEX has that, right? We have a cross DEX aggregator that can place limit orders. That hasn't been done yet, right? We also have a 5 import tokens to 1 export token, right? Hasn't been done on Pulsechain. That's going to save. You can do 5 transactions in one, so that's going to save gas. You'll be able to get out of when there's market volatility, right? And that's not even talking about Tetra. So I think the community has, Stu's really doing an organic launch, but one of these days, people are going to be talking about it a hell of a lot more in these, and the opportunities of just clicking on one button and getting to the most complex strategies. Where else can you get off that on Pulsechain? And if we're going to be successful, that's the type of innovation this chain needs, right? And I think the community.
Is there a product?
What's that?
Is there a product?
It's a software as a service. Like, anybody can use it. It's just a tool.
Of course, I understand that's the end goal, right? But I think the reason why it's not being talked is because it would be deceivious to talk about something that doesn't exist yet, right? Correct?
Okay.
I think that's why, because a lot of people would. I think it's better. for the people that counts, right? I think it's better to have tangibility, right? When the test nets were out, a lot more explanation, a lot more information, a lot more knowledge was that a lot more time was diverged into that because it was tangible. You were able to actually do something, right? So like, unless there's actually test net capability, I would assume that's the barrier, that's the wall, man. And it's okay. In my opinion, it's a very good wall because imagine people are still talking about it, right? But I wouldn't want it to be talked more than what it exists, which is a current building process, right? So
I agree.
You understand? And I think that's the most.
I do.
I think that's the fairest way to do it due to all the problems that we've had in the past. And I think you guys might maybe want to take that route too, because whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not, it's coming out, right? So it's good to maybe talk about it, but it would always be better to talk about it when it actually is there, because you can make more of a damage. And hearing the same story all the time might not affect someone as much as, hey, right now you can go do it. And then once they can go do it, that effect of, oh my God, I'm one of the first to do this, gives a more, what's that word? Family feeling. What's not family? Nostalgic feeling to the user. As to
I agree. I agree on that. But this Friday, the first part of ours is coming out, the Dex aggregator, right? And we weren't even going to build that to that OKX debacle. Okay, so we had to build our own Dex aggregator, and we have limit orders happening on Friday, which is a huge deal. Like
like it's coming out and everything.
Tetra, the protocol of Stratus, right, where you build the strategies, and Atlas, where the market is for them, where you can click on it. That's not coming out to a couple weeks after. We're going to slowly roll that out. But on Friday, we're rolling out our cross-dex aggregator that has limit orders on it. That hasn't been done on Pulsechain. That's a big step.
So then once the product's out, you're going to hear everyone's going to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know that limit orders are coming Friday, okay, to Pulsechain, and that's a huge deal. And having 5 import tokens, one of the features of it, and this is nowhere on Pulsechain, has 5 import tokens to 1, right? So that there's a lot of implications for that. You can do 5 transactions in once, 5 tokens. 5 token transactions into 1. I'll shut up, but don't be sleeping on that. Like, go play some limit orders. Limit orders are a huge deal.
That's what 9-inch was supposed to have. What happened to 9-inch's limit order? Just they didn't work.
When you're all the quote unquote influencers, I don't even like that term, but any of the guys who do any channels or gets viewership or whatever, your Corey Costas, etc. Just simplify it and chuck it across, man, and just really bombard their DMs about what's coming out on Friday, because people are going to want to talk about it, man. We want to create content, and we want to be able to get people in on your protocol as well. So if it benefits Pulsechain and the greater ecosystem, get the news out there. I know you're in this space and you're talking about it, but yeah, just DM them and simplify the points so they can put it in a video.
Yeah, no, we've got all that covered. We're good. We're sitting super good.
And I'm
We're
great at media.
Excited for
I'll
the community
do that.
and how we
I'll
can
share
help.
this stuff with the community.
Yeah, looking forward to
and with my larger community outside of Pulsechain that's coming in.
I think you guys are going to be very happy, and it's going to bring the whole blockchain and make it stronger. So for the people that don't know, you might want to check it out. We've got some really cool shit coming to Pulsechain that's going to make a huge difference. Like, huge difference.
I see George Glasses in as well, and wanted to speak. Go ahead, George.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a managing director of Pulsechain. There's kind of like a need for new lingo, and I guess we could just use new, like a block, the blockchain over 186,000 miles per hour or something per second, just like just throwing out ideas out there.
Sure, man. So you want to change the language a little bit and kind of make it a little bit sexier, I guess is probably the word for it.
Yeah.
So what's your current beef or issues with kind of the current lingo, and what do you want to see different?
We just need like a unit of measure that we all can, agree on.
Kind of
love, like unconditional love.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fair enough. Anything else?
No, that was just my general point.
Fair enough. Anyone who wants to join, feel free. There's still quite a lot of guys. I think we'll be ending the space in the next. Well, we've been going about an hour now, so probably within the next 5 to 10 minutes. But yeah, if you guys got any questions, I want to hear your thoughts as well. This Twitter Spaces are not exclusively for people who've got big followings or whatever. Like I said, you can come up, you can speak. Just be respectful, obviously, of the speakers and the people around you. But feel free to come up, ask questions. You got a lot of guys here: Gary, Famous, Ben, Papa Boner as well. So please feel free to come up. Don't be afraid to come have a conversation with any of us.
Well, if we've got 5 minutes or 10 minutes left, I'd love to just ask Papa Boner a couple questions of what he's working on and where he's at and everything that's going on in his world with security or updates. What kind of alpha do you got for us, Papa? It's really good to see you in the space. Much respect to you, brother. You're the man.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for calling me up. But
you're the biggest legend
to do something.
You're the biggest legend in this space, buddy. Like, you're the man.
Well, I mean, thanks, but it's a humbling experience to see Benjamin bring me up after such a long gap. Thanks, Benjamin, for offering me the spot here to squawk. Yeah, I mean, I've really been putting all my effort into this whole B9 thing. It's called b9.xyz is the website. It's just an interface where practitioners in our community, security practitioners that are either too shy or too cloistered to really give their alpha as a whole in terms of security to our community, have the ability to do that. So it's just an interface that they can post on. It's going to grow in time, I'm sure. We've got 3 times more reviewers of contracts than we started out with. And the only thing that we're gated by right now from posting a lot of our results is a contract that we wrote that will allow for our token to be claimed in a secure manner, which effectively represents you getting your own reward for paying attention to our reviews. So that's going to come out shortly. The token's live, and we have no control over what it does in the market, but seems to have
now
a
is the time, folks.
value. But it's only designed to do 2 things. One, reward the people that do reviews and do good security, practice, spreading of the word, so to speak. And 2, the people in general pop that are going to want to pay attention to what these practitioners say. And the token is available to everybody who pays attention to their security posture. And effectively, the whole project was to kind of streamline and alleviate the noise that happens in chats from influencers on YouTube or in these Twitter spaces or contradictions or whatever. If you're going to contradict something, absolutely we welcome it. Back it up, publish it.
That's right.
And then we thank you and give you tokens. It's pretty much all we do. And it's growing. And it's going to be, I think, a lifelong project for a few of us. And it's it's never designed to make you rich. For example, Hex, Pulsex, these are the things that will put money in your pocket.
Yes.
This is just an attaboy to the people
Can
that
you imagine
keep you safe
the price
and to
of
yourself because
Hex
you pay
right
attention.
now at roughly a bit
And
over
again,
a
the
penny.
website is b9.xyz.
In just
You have an
6 months
emergency
from now,
problem
being
that you
at
need somebody to
40
help you out with.
cents.
There is a clear
Can you imagine being
path
able
getting a
to get it
response
at
from
this price
people
then?
that care about you as active
Yeah.
members in our communities anyway. Also, people that have thoughts and questions and want to see contracts reviewed. We've also aggregated and working closely with Pulse Police and Hex Security. So
Yep.
we're kind of
That's
bringing
great.
all that together so you can see it on one single pane of glass, as I always say. And you can get an immediate bead, especially in the bull market that's coming up, the big bull run. You're going to have all these emotions coursing through your veins. You're going to really want to know quickly, should I touch, should I liquidate, can I trade this particular token that appeared in my wallet, or this token that got airdropped for me from having another token? What's the story on one single pane of glass? We're going to add also, what influencers are saying. So we also compensate people for going out and getting sound bites of various people in our community saying things, and we can post those too. So you can get a quasi true due diligence at the touch of a button.
Bingo.
That's what we really dream about doing, and it may not come to fruition on this particular cycle, but we'll be around, so we'll be looking out for you.
Nice.
I just want to say this, Papa. Next to Richard, right? I don't think that there's another person throughout our, Hex Pulsechain universe that's helped and made a bigger difference in as many people's lives as you have, right? The amount of time, effort that you've spent helping people with security and fixing their stuff, and there's hundreds and thousands of people whose lives you truly have made a difference in. And I put you up second to Richard in that sphere of making a difference. So all the work that you're doing with security and all that stuff that you're doing, much respect to you. You're sticking to your core principles of helping people with security and building something. And when you stick to your guns like that and help people and do that, much props to you. So I recommend anybody go out there and look at his stuff and review the stuff and participate in that, because that's how they're making a big difference. So much respect, Papa.
Benjamin, that's far too kind. And I think the 20,000 hex that I promised you to say guys. It's in the mail.
Send me Tetra, buddy. Send me 100 Tetra.
Yeah.
For sure. Tetra it is.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty funny, guys. On that note, I am going to close this space. I appreciate everyone coming in. Thank you, Papa Boner, as well. Thank you, Famous, Gary. Thank you, Ben, and everyone else.
Yeah, thanks for having me on board too.
It's awesome, man. Thank you very much. It's been great. And speak to you soon. See you in the chat. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
All right. Okay, so that was right here on Twitter Space, and we're actually live in all of our places, but this happened on Twitter Space, and we got a chance to hear some of what that conversation was about. You missed my piece in it. Of course, you could jump in, and I'm not going to do that when we have Hex OGs and they're people in our community. We all respect them. They're talking and sharing various points. I have a very strong viewpoint on love and unconditional love and how that brings about a greater future for us all. It's an optimistic viewpoint, so it's one I know that will help the community and one that will be welcomed by all of those OGs. However, how it's delivered really matters, and you don't want to turn people off by pushing things beyond a certain level. I was heard in that you can go back and watch that yourself. These are recorded, and the opportunity is there for you to take. So we talked about the highs, and that was also in the title of this show on Live at 5 today. And I said Bitcoin can reach, in an optimistic sense, $150,000 to $250,000, giving a frame there, and thinking about that in terms of the changes that are happening, not really implementing an unconditional loving world that I would like to see, but rather the world that we're in, the realistic aspects of what we deal with every day is worked into that view. And Bitcoin does have that ability to shock and awe. It has already done it. And look how people have responded. Nobody in this community would have said that by November 14th that Bitcoin would be at its price now, even that it dumped from 38,000, right? And by the way it's been moving, it can move back to 38,000 in a flash. So what's stopping it from making those same parabolic movements moving forward? If you ever watch some of these, like Ivan on Tech, very bullish. Here we also had Gary in the community talking about how it can go to anywhere between 0 to 50 million. And that was a very optimistic and realistic, I say, because the world is changing a lot. You have to consider, if the world moves over to such an avenue, Bitcoin, there is a way and a means in order to do our finances in a more secure way. And so, not just secure, but the inflation that's going around the world is out of whack. Now, what runs inflation and what's causing this? It's corruption. It's what causes the market variance. It's the bull market, the bear market, and back and forth. Why don't we just have a bull market? Because our ingenuity is high. Our work effort is through the roof. Why isn't it just that we have a perpetual bear market that goes on and on and on? Indeed, that would be the case if it weren't for the fact that we also have this corruption, this betrayal, and it's fear. It's greed and fear that works together. What we had in there was Benjamin, who's a wonderful guy. You could tell he's really talking about trying to save the people that he cares about. He's being honest about what he wants to do, and he believes in an $80,000 Bitcoin. Very conservative estimate. Remember, the last high was not too different than that. And what did Gary say to that when Benjamin said, we have to be worried about who's going to screw us over? We have to be worried about who's going to break the plan. Well, Gary said, yeah, that person is you. Think about that. Because when fear stokes these kinds of thoughts and then you dump, it causes a cascading of dumping. Because up until that moment, people were believing. They were saying, well, I don't see you dumping, so I'm not going to dump. But then you see somebody dump. Even that happens, another person may step in and rescue the day and buy. And that's really what should happen, because the believers, they have that ability to do that. And that's what we all watch when we're speculating the market. If we don't see buyers stepping in, then that causes sellers to become more shaky and more scared, little scaredy cats. And so they sell their positions. But of course, that can backfire, because right around after that, and a lot of people use those opportunities to shake these weak hands out, because people that have that mentality, if they don't do it at 80,000, they're certainly going to do it at 100,000. If they don't do it there, they'll certainly do it at 120. And it never has that chance to really get to the 250,000 mark. So it's really important these shakeouts happen, are natural. And what happens is it becomes very difficult to gauge where the market's going to actually go. I say be optimistic and be a builder and fight corruption. Unconditional love is the corruption fighter. It's hard to do corruption when you're doing love properly. Spread that force. Spread that goodness. It's good for your bags, and it's great for your community. And if you engage in Metcalfe's law, and you believe in that force, and you believe in the capacity of building, then what can happen is a 10x growth in the community becomes a 100x growth in the price performance of the underlying coin. Keep that in mind. So what we had here recently? We've had the markets, they kind of cooled off a little bit. Let me take a look where we're at on Bitcoin. Bitcoin go bump, bump, Bitcoin go bump. But of course, it's also had its pullbacks, and we are holding strong. We are believers, and it's coming back a bit. So it dropped down to 35,000, which is good. That's kind of like $38,000 cool off. Now, what can really happen from this point is we could actually go from 35.5, which is where it's at now, 35,560, and it can actually bust through the $38,000 previous high. These are natural movements. Again, people that just are in disbelief that Bitcoin is at where it's at. There's never been a more hated bull cycle than the current one that we're under. So many people are on the sidelines, despite that this bull market's gone on for so long. They wanted to see backwards movement, and they doubted everything and everybody. And again, this is part of the greed, fear mindset. It's not part of the abundance mindset. It's not part of love and courage, which is totally a way you can run your life. And it really builds on abundance in your own life even. So keep that in mind. And because we've had this sort of different twist to this show today, where I've had an opportunity to share what these guys are thinking about these top levels in the market, which is a great opportunity to do this. Think about it. While we step back in the market a bit, Bitcoin's back a bit, Pulsechain's back a bit off of its highs, everything's a little bit back a bit, and we're waiting for what Bitcoin does next. But let me tell you something. There's a little bit insight into what Bitcoin's going to do next, because I have been watching this SPY. And yesterday the SPY was up, and it's doing quite well. It's very healthy. Let's see what it done today. This is insight that's important. I don't know the answer for today. It looks pretty green on the market, I will say that much. In fact, grayscale Bitcoin was the only thing that I see in a little red on. Wow, look at that. It is up 8 points today. Guys, we're going to have a huge market. We're in the bull market. Take this little pullback as, an opportunity to get in. Because honestly, you got to see this market. It's cooking. We are up 8 points today on the SPY. And I'll give you a view of that. So you can see that right there. There it is. 8 points. And that's the day chart. Now look at that day, that last candle. That's today. Look at that. Don't miss it. Don't miss where we're headed. This is an optimistic time in cryptocurrency. And be a lover, be a builder. Corruption is greed and fear. God and building and everything good is love and courage. Remember that? That's true to the spirits. That's true to the demons. That's true to life. We'll see you on today. It's 5:42 right now, so we've been going about 40 minutes or so. I'm going to go ahead and end it there, because if I get into anything else, it's going to stretch on for a while. And I will see you guys on Friday at Live at 5. God bless.